Hello, everybody, and welcome to the Wednesday show. I'm your host, One Time Hammer, and with me are my two brilliant co-hosts, Terry DeMontis.
Hello.
And Jen T. Maxey.
Hello.
How you doing, Jen?
Good. I had to re-click. It was like, I'm not fast.
How you doing, Terry?
Oh yeah, not bad. Got a bit of a runny nose, but I'll live.
Allergy season.
Uh-oh. You got the bug. You got COVID.
Yeah, well, I'm sure I'll survive.
It's not a tumor. I'm doing well, but though I just woke up, so if my voice sounds weird to the people in chat, it's because I just woke up. I'm so tired, but we'll get through it because I have great hosts and it's a cool show. So, the best show on Wednesday, if you ask me. I don't want to sound too much like Matt, but the best show on Wednesday.
Well, it's just on that note. I had the highlight of my week asking Monkey about how Monkeypox buttering the turtle cave was going for him.
Oh no! I thought we lost that when Lords of the Night ended, but okay, still out there.
Laughed. He was like, "No, Jen, go to the corner."
Let's say hi to chat. Who we got? Assassin of the Gray, OG Costin, and Kieradam. Hi, sweetie. Yeah. Of course, a half an hour from now, the rest of the people will show up. It makes you wonder if we shouldn't just start a half an hour later every time. You know, one of those things.
Yeah, but if you do that, they'll show up even later.
Yes, they'll show up at 10 o'clock, and then Jen will be very angry.
I wish I could, but you know.
Yeah. I did not put any show notes together for tonight. I think we kind of know what we're going to talk about. I didn't think of putting any quippy remarks into the show notes.
Yeah.
I just put in the Wednesday show. Everyone knows we're going to talk about Beto and his bullshit and the shooting and that whole thing. And
But also, if you don't put it in the title, they can't get mad at us if we go off topic and don't actually address it.
You know what? I might do something a little bit weird and see if I can check Pat's channel, because when he streamed earlier today, he had a link to a GoFundMe for the families, and I'm gonna see if maybe I can post that in the chat. Because yes, while we are talking about Beto because he's a piece of shit. You know, the one thing that should be important is remembering that like 19 babies just died. I know a couple of adults died too, but it was babies that died.
innocent souls, regardless.
Yeah. So the least we could do is maybe help the families a little bit. It would help. It would help.
Yeah. It would help more politicizing the event for your own cause. That is the way
that would really help. I just don't get that kind of stuff. I mean, I was on Twitter arguing the gun angle because I knew that's exactly what would go down, because there's still plenty of lefties on Twitter, regardless of what Elon Musk is planning. So I was kind of defending that, and it really wasn't defending so much as trying to get people to come up with solutions. Because
I posted the Chris Rock clip.
I mean, I came up with I tried to come up with solutions too, but anytime somebody said, we need to do something, and I was like, okay, what? And then no answer. Every time. Not one person responded to me.
Because they know the answer that they want is a full ban on guns, which legally they can't have. Like, the U.S. Constitution is pretty clear that you can't do a blanket ban on guns. Yeah.
It's even went with Claudia because she, of course, had to comment on this, and that's fine. But I said the same thing to her. I said, except for the fact that you cannot ban guns because of the U.S. Constitution, what do you suggest we do? And she didn't reply to me either. So I did not get one person. Not one person responded to me. Plenty of people who were pro-gun chimed in, retweeted, that kind of stuff, and but nobody from the other side or even the center, which I was a little surprised about, said anything. And my biggest takeaway from all this is, like, if you want to prevent school shootings, how about if we prevent school? That gets rid of the teachers grooming the kids, and that gets rid of school shootings all in one shot. And it ain't hard to do.
Well, there was a lot of little things that happened with this one that was kind of questionable in the first place. Like, I remember when I was in school, and I'm really not that old. I'm 40. That wasn't that long ago. When we started class, they locked the doors. You were in the school. No one was just coming into the school. Like, I mean, you were allowed out for recess and stuff. You know, people were allowed in and out, like they had a bell so you could ring and come in if there were people coming to visit, but you couldn't just enter the school. You know, something as basic as like how the hell that kid got in the school, because he wasn't a member of that school. I think I mentioned to you two earlier, there's a girl on Twitter who was there the day before because her class was there the day before. It's a tradition in their community to have the seniors who are graduating spend the day with the kids who are just starting out their first year, or you know, beginning their first year, and it's meant to be like an encouragement for the future. You know, what are you going to be in the future, that kind of thing. And the kid who did all this stuff, well, he got the dates wrong because he was planning to go on the day where they were all going to go do this thing. He wasn't a member of their school. How the hell he just walked right in?
The school wasn't hardened, and they should be.
Yeah.
Instead of giving Ukraine $40 billion, maybe you put towards the schools and make them hard. That way, people can't get in unless it's, you know.
What kind of virtue signal is that, though? You need the virtue signal of giving money to Ukraine.
It wouldn't be that hard, you know. I mean, it's going to cost a little bit of money, but to put in security, and everybody wants to put in security guards. I think that's a mistake. I mean, you can have one or two or something like that, but schools, to be safe, you have to put in 30 per school, you know, and then pay them for a year. You know, that's not feasible, but you can train all of the teachers to learn how to use guns, and then put guns in their pockets. That way, if somebody breaks in, just shoot them. Don't even ask. You're not supposed to be here. Bang.
Another thing that they could do, and yet again, I'm going with the doors thing. Like, if you could even time your classroom doors so that they lock, like the teacher will obviously be able to get out with like a code or something. But like, if it locks when it's supposed to on time, I mean, obviously if kids are late, well, they get the pink slip, they get let back in. You know, everyone leaves when the class is up because, you know, the lock will unlock. You can even set that as a timer. The kids wouldn't even know. But it locks the door. So shooter can't go from door to door to door to door to door to door.
Right.
Like, there's a lot of little things they could do that would help. That doesn't have to be like obvious.
A button in each classroom so that when you hear a gunshot, they push a button and all doors are hard locked.
Yes.
Keyword Dam says in chat, he shot the security guard. Yeah, security guards aren't really trained like police. They're just walking around making sure kids are not in the hallway when they're not supposed to be. They're not really, you know, qualified people.
My proposed solution would be bring back mental asylums and make gun training mandatory. Like, I know countries like Switzerland, you have like compulsory military service. I don't know if you need to do that, but make everyone trained in firearms, and then because a lot of the people who hate guns, it comes from ignorance, and so if you train them in like, this is how you use a gun, this is like how you do it responsibly, all the rest of it, like, okay, well, they're not actually as bad as I thought. I'll get a gun and then I'll be, you know, safer.
Yeah.
See, here's how I would do it if I was an Australian. And this is in make-believe land because I know that it doesn't work like this. But you crossbreed a chicken with a cassowary and you make it an attack dog. It's in the cage up until somebody enters the room that's not supposed to be there. And then it's not in the cage anymore.
Looks like Johnny Hellcat, our Thursday night host, is in chat. And Spudgun is here as well. Welcome, gentlemen.
And KVDM says, what if an armed teacher is crazy, though? I would say you need pretty strict controls on who you let be a teacher that probably are not being enforced at the moment, but definitely should be.
Yeah. I mean, Kev, I mean, that's a good point anyway, because, I mean, they already have crazed teachers. One of them could easily just come in with a gun. Well, you're not taking my pronouns seriously. Pew, pew, pew.
How many school teachers have been killing kids in school? I don't think it's happened.
Not about killing them.
Not yet.
crazy in general. It's like
Yeah.
you should be filtering out the crazy people. You should not be hiring them to be teachers.
Yeah, but the people who are hiring are also crazy, so that's why they do it.
Yeah.
But yeah, no, that's a good idea is to make sure that the teachers, in my personal opinion, I think teachers, if they're qualified, if they're willing to do the work to be qualified, should have a concealed weapon with them at all times. So, I mean, the teachers are basically doing the job of it's hard to put this into words. They're doing the job of the parents. They're taking care of the kids for that period of time. They're not their kids. They're still their students, but they're required to do everything necessary to protect them, just like a parent would. So, you know, if you're a parent, a lot of parents have guns. There's no reason why teachers can't have them. I haven't said to anybody, well, let's arm the teachers, and anybody gives me a response back to say, why not? The only thing I get back is, well, they shouldn't need to be. Well, no. In a perfect world, no. But this isn't a perfect world.
In utopia, sure, but that's not where we are.
Yeah, that's not where we're not. It's not where we're ever going to be. So
it's also this idea that an evil person won't think of another way to do an evil thing. And here's a story for you. And I only know this one because of a guy who does grave walks. And one of the first school shootings was more of a school terrorist attack, because there was this guy who just simply didn't agree with the school council. And so one day he decided, well, you know what? I'm going to blow up my house. And so while the town was going to his house to investigate what had happened to his house, he decided to take his vehicle loaded with nails and bombs, and he went to the elementary school and he just set it off. So while everyone was going to go save his house, he blew himself up and basically the whole school. You act as though guns are the only thing that kills people.
Going back to what Hannah was saying, one thing that really bothers me about feminism is the whole, well, we shouldn't have to protect ourselves. Agreed, but you do. So pushing this message that, no, women shouldn't have to check their drinks to make sure they're not spiked. You shouldn't have to, but you do have to. And telling women not to do it is just putting them in danger for no reason.
Mm-hmm.
Well, feminism is just complaining about being fair. Spud Gun says, hey, he was in a gun-free zone. Remember that? He can't take a gun into school. Yeah, of course.
Yeah.
And I've been saying on Twitter, gun-free zones are just killing fields.
Mm-hmm.
I even sat down and wrote a tweet that said, look, you got two rooms. One's full of people with guns, and one's full of children. And you're a school shooter. Which one are you going to go into?
Of course.
It's pretty straightforward. I mean, that's a straightforward argument that no one's going to come back at you with, you know, except for maybe a complaint. Well, you shouldn't have to pick which one. Whatever, dude. Come on.
Yeah, but that whole argument really annoys me, because like they're putting women in danger with like, you should be allowed to walk home late at night, drunk, and not get attacked. You should. You're not. I mean, you're allowed to, but it's a terrible idea. You should.
Again, it's socialism. It's everything should be this way. Yeah, but it's not. Live in the real world. Our boy Pat. His name is your boy Pat, but he's our boy Pat. How's it going, Pat?
It's not just that, and I know I'm probably gonna get in trouble for saying this. It's
oh,
like
go ahead.
It's like the imagery I get from the trending part of the trans men. Because I do believe that trans men exist. Like, I actually quite like Buck Rogers for some reason. I think
Rogers. You mean Buck Angel?
Buck Angel. I think he's funny.
I like Buck Rogers too, though.
And I do hesitate because sometimes I say she, and it's not because I don't see her as he. I actually can do that. My brain just takes it takes time. It takes my brain a little time. It just does. But it's the trenders that came from the lesbian side, where you can tell that they've kind of been pushing each other to do this kind of stuff, and they remove their boobs. And I'm just like, I get that you have this hatred for that symbolism, because that's part of what it is. So part of mutilation, self-mutilation, is a hatred for a part of something that you are connected to. It is part of why they do that kind of shit. But I'm just like, down the road after you've done something like that, if you really think that that's not going to physically affect you, mentally and physically, It is. Cancer survivors will tell you that.
I'll tell you that I get probably shouldn't be anything that I have to worry about, but it really, there's a lot of things that are happening that just hurt my heart. And when I hear about a woman removing her boobs, I mean, I can understand if someone's got, double Fs like that and they can't function because they're in the way and they're heavy and back pain. I can understand getting a reduction. You got to do what you got to do to be healthy, all that kind of stuff. But when I hear, some 13-year-old girl gets surgery to remove her boobs, it's just, oh my God, that's so depressing. I almost don't want to talk about it because it's like, oh, she had these, potentially, I got to be careful how I say this, potentially nice breasts of a healthy woman, and she 13 years old had them removed. It's like, you'll never ever be attractive without some kind of breast to the average man. I mean, even flat chested women still have some breasts there. Even guys, have breasts, but when they get them removed, there's nothing, man. They take everything out. It's almost concave. It's like, you're going to have to get surgery and a fake nipple created for each front, because they take the nipple too completely off. It just hurts my heart to hear that. I'm such an advocate for boobs. I think boobs are awesome. And when I hear somebody voluntarily removing them, it's like, God, why would you ever do that?
Like, I get that it's a mentality that I am not really going to understand. And that's true. I just can't. Like, for them, I understand that there is probably self-hatred there. Like, there clearly is when you do something like that. But to me, the symbolism is like, women who get that done, it's usually because of cancer. It is usually
a mastectomy is a different story. It's because it's your health. And I can totally understand that. I still feel sad, but I don't feel heartbroken because of it. It had to be done. It has to be done. What can you do? But when you choose, oh man, it's just soul crushing.
I mean, I find the idea of cosmetic surgery in general to be baffling. Like I get why porn stars want bigger tits, but just like women in their daily lives, like, I don't think you should be getting them enlarged or reduced. Just, you've got what you've got, and be happy with that. I'm not going to go out get my dick lengthened.
If a girl gets an implant to make herself bigger, to make herself feel more attractive or better, I can handle that. I follow the whole story of what's her name? Something Glenn.
Jacqueline
Glenn. And if you see it before and after, she's a lot sexier now. Because she was pretty A cup before, and I wouldn't have a problem if I'm dating a girl. I'm definitely an ass man. I am definitely not a boob guy. Though I love boobs. I love the whole thing about women and how femininity is. There's a lot of tie between those two, but it wouldn't bother me at all if a girl was flat chested or not. But in her case, she was an A cup and she went to a C cup, and now she's proportional. And I think there's an added feature of being not only having some kind of breast, but being proportional to the rest of your body. That I don't have anything against that. If you want to do it just to make yourself happy and look typical, that's great. Do it.
I don't have a problem with people doing it. I mean, your body, you do what you want with it.
Yeah.
I just don't understand it. It's like, I have no part of my body that I would be like, you know what? I want to change this. It's like, no, I am what I am. It's fine.
Keyred says, what if they're asymmetrical? First of all, they're all asymmetrical to some point. But if they're drastically asymmetrical, then that's kind of like a birth defect, and you want to create correct a birth defect by making them more symmetrical, then that's fine too. As long as if they're asymmetrical and you said, well, I'm just going to take them both off, I'd be like, no, don't do that.
It's a different situation than Keith. Like, I think a lot of the times where I see the girls who've done this, it's done with spite. Like, they've cut their own boobs off to spite somebody else. And it's like, who are you spiting? Are you spiting men? Are you spiting
cut off your nose to spite your face kind of deal? Why would you ruin yourself to prove someone else? I always thought it was a rejection of femininity. That's what I always thought it was.
That is what it is. Like, they're not planning on having children, but like listen, if you're not planning on having children, then the boobs don't really freaking matter. They don't do anything if you don't have children. Trust me, they don't.
They make men happy.
They do. But it's just I question that kind of stuff, because maybe it's because I just turned 40, so my age group is kind of going into that leap of like, I haven't had children. What am I going to do with myself? I haven't hit the wall, but I hit the wall.
Oh, what are you going to do with yourself? May I introduce you to Steam?
Right? I know, right? I don't want to do that though. That just seems like cop out. That is what that seems like to me. Like cop out. I couldn't make it as a regular person with a regular job, so I'm relying on this. I'm relying on the shit that the cheap part of it, because I'm not even going into the porn industry, because I would at least be honest. And then I can't get a real man now because dirty whore.
Because feminism.
Yeah.
Cannibalistic Wizards in chat. Say hi to cannibalistic. Hello.
I just stuck my tongue out at him.
Go ahead, Jen. What were you saying?
Oh no, it's just that's kind of part of my rant with it. It's just feminism is bad. Okay, don't do feminism. It's like crack. Okay.
Okay. Keyword M is 32. And willing to admit it on chat in front of everybody.
I'm 10 years older.
Brave young woman.
Yeah, I'm 40. I admit to that all the time.
It's a very common myth that 30 is the wall. Maybe at one point that was true. I don't think 30 is the wall anymore. Although I will use it as an argument against people if they want to talk about feminism. But it is too individual nowadays to say that this is that and that is that. With proper diet and exercise and all that kind of stuff, a 40-year-old woman is indistinguishable between 28 and 40 to me. I can't tell really the difference depending on
I just looked it up. The 30th of November 1979. That was The Wall by Pink Floyd.
So yeah,
to be honest, I don't think you're wrong. I think part of the joke with The Wall, and I might be basing it off of weird theories, but there was a time period where I remember the Black community was giving white women shit for aging faster. And I was like, I don't think it's that Asian women are aging faster, because I was looking at not Asian, white women were aging faster because Asians were having the same problem, and Black people do have the same problem. It's when did you start wearing loads of makeup problem and your diet. It always ends up being either your diet and other little things, like did you have babies too soon, and then lots of them, because that does a lot to your face too.
Are you smoking?
There's a lot of things that causes you to age faster. Do you drink a lot? Did you do a lot of hard drugs? Not just drugs, but hard drugs, over-the-counter drugs too, actually can be hard drugs. They don't count them that way, but they should be. There's a lot of reasons you get old fast. And if you're stressing yourself out all the time, which women do now. Now that we work all the time, or most of the time, we stress ourselves out a lot. So you age faster doing that too.
Yeah, and it's individual too, because I never did drugs. I was not an alcoholic. I'm pretty much a Boy Scout when it comes to that kind of stuff. But my body is wrecked, man. So I mean, even people who do their best to take care, your body's going to do what it's going to do. So
I mean, I don't take care of my body all that well, but I mean, apart from a bit of a belly and some gray hair, I think I'm coming out of it all right.
I got pissed at my hair this morning and cut it all off.
Oh, geez.
Yeah, I didn't shave. I just took a shear, like a sheeping shears, and buzz cutted my entire head. So my hair is wispy, and so it when it starts getting long, it starts tickling me. And if I don't shave it off, I'll pull it out. So
my hair gets very mad scientist. It's sort of like just gets all
very Don King.
Yeah. So if I don't get it cut, it just gets really, really like unwieldy. So I got to make sure
it gets very Viva Fry.
Yeah, and if I don't shave my beard properly, I do look a bit like a terrorist.
Oh, really?
Yeah, I've been stopped for quote unquote random searches at airports, and it's always been when I've been neglecting to take care of my beard.
Of course, my 60, so almost 60. My everything is gray, except they're amazingly not my chest hair. My chest hair is still beautiful, dark brown, black color. I don't understand why that part's not gray too, but my beard is gray. The problem with me, I just can't properly maintain it when it gets to a certain point. I start to get like Santa Claus beard, like biker trucker kind of stuff like that, and I mean, it's going to sound gross, but I literally have to spend minutes recovering from a sneeze. It's like I have to clean up as much as I can. I have to go wash my face and then blow dry, because it still be wet for, no matter how much you dab it, it stays wet for an hour. So you got to kind of blow dry. It's just from a sneeze, it's half an hour's worth of work, Jeez. So it's like, I give up on it. And then trying to keep it out of your mouth and you're trying to eat.
Yeah. No.
Yeah, no. Just whack it right off.
My hair is graying. It's not gray yet. It's still very black, but around the temples, and there's like flecks in my beard where you can definitely see the gray.
Women love that.
The temples are getting pretty gray, and the beard is like flecked, but the rest of it's pretty black.
Women love the salt and pepper, man. They do.
Yeah, well, I'm going to see it, so it doesn't really matter.
I'm sure Jen agrees with me. Women like the salt and pepper.
It's nice.
See.
But I'm just gonna say that as a blonde though, when you're a blonde, other women think you're a cheater because it takes just a little bit longer for grays to show up.
You're awful redhead for a blonde.
I have mixed hair, but I'm a blonde. Trust me, I'm a blonde.
Jen's hair is mixed race.
Mixed race.
But I mean, what are you gonna do?
Yeah.
You gotta do something. I can't just not do anything because it just gets. I find myself getting angry and constantly having to move my hair out of the fucking way, And then you put headphones on and it sticks out and it makes your ears. Where's my shears?
If your hair is like that, then you got to trim it more often. And if some people just can't grow facial hair, so shaving is really not that much of a concern for them. It's just whatever your genetics happen to be, you kind of just deal with what you got.
I don't mind trimming my beard in. Like I trim the beard on my neck because I don't want to look like a neck beard. First of all, like I said, I have the Commander Riker beard, so I cut my neck and I cut the sides in. But my beard is so full that I can literally be Santa Claus if I just leave it alone. It will. It's a thick beard everywhere, but I cut it in to try to make it maintained. But for some reason, I just can't properly get around my mouth where I don't cut my lip. Even with scissors, I have to be very careful, and it's just too much time, and it grows way too fast. I mean, I just hit it today, and in a week it'll be unmanageable again. It's just crazy fast. I can't get this kind of growth in my head, but on my face, I'm one of those people who has a full beard. Like some people on their cheeks or underneath their jaw, it gets kind of sparse on a lot of people, but not for me. From an inch below my eye to an inch above my collarbone, full beard no matter which way you go.
I've definitely got the Mediterranean genes because my beard is like not. It's not wispy in any way. It's a lot of hair. I've always got to like trim it and shave it down.
Yeah, my girlfriend's starting to complain because she's getting older. She's 32, so she's starting to see some, waning of the female hormones. So she's getting hairs on her face, and she's like, I don't have a beard, I don't have a mustache. So she's trying to save up money to get electrolysis and get it all taken care of.
Fair enough.
Yeah. I guess at some point that happens to every woman. And Jen, you're gonna have to fill me in on this. I don't know.
Yeah, but it's that ranges in age. Like any woman could get that because sometimes the facial hair has more to do with just your hormones in general.
Okay. Genetics?
Yeah, pretty much. It's kind of a sign of hormones. So like if you were like your girls are saying, make babies, bitch, Your face will show it with hair.
Oh, really? There's a correlation there?
Yes.
But I would think hair color also has an effect, because blonde facial hair is not going to show up as much on a woman as if she's got darker hair, because that's going to be much more contrasted against the skin.
What's weird about this is she doesn't really, she's dark hair girl, but she really doesn't have much body hair naturally. Like her arms and legs, very, very sparse. Just about everyone I ever dated has peach fuzz on their arms and legs. My girlfriend barely has any hair on her. She can not shave for like almost a week, and I couldn't even tell you. It's pretty amazing. But now she's starting to get it on her chin and under her lip, so beard and mustache. And it's not coming in like crazy, but she's getting these wild rogue hairs out of nowhere. You know, just one single hair. It's like having a stray tooth or something like that. It just drives her out of her mind.
Yeah, it's every couple of days she'll find it and be like, I just got rid of it.
Yeah. And it'll be another one from somewhere else that she actually got rid of. But it's just a psychology of it. She's like, it's starting to annoy her that she's getting told that, hey, you're getting older. She doesn't want to hear that. The thing is, she looks young. If you saw her, you think you would think she was my daughter or something like that. She looks a lot younger than 32. She looks like 27. You know, and I'm not just saying that because of rose-colored glasses. I get this all the time. Every time we go out, people are looking at me like, you fucking pig. I'm like, dude, you don't understand. I didn't really have much to do with this. She pursued me. I was hesitant. I saw this coming, but your heart's going to do what your heart's going to do. We're both legal tender at this age. You know, she's 32. I'm almost 60. So I pull the young ones. What am I going to do?
Age gaps don't mean anything once you're both clearly adults.
It's not like she's 19 or
exactly. Like, it would be different if she was like, the legal age for you guys is 18. So if she was, 18 and you were 60, then people would be like, well, that's a bit dodgy. But if she's in her 30s, I mean, she's a full-grown adult. She can make her own decisions.
Yeah, I'm very much the same idea. The number is just the amount of time you've been on the planet. You know, it really doesn't matter too much either way. Like, I wouldn't be interested in somebody. There's just too much culture difference when you start getting to people who are significantly younger than you. You don't really. Not like you have to have things in common. Everyone says you want to have a good relationship, you got to have things in common. I don't believe that at all. What you have to have in common is values.
Right.
Everything else you don't have to have in common. You don't have to like the same music. You don't have to like the same movies or play the same games or enjoy the same pastimes, because sharing in someone else's thing, that's something that you don't normally do, is interesting. You know, so not being exactly the same is actually, I don't want to use this word, but the diversity in liking things is actually a good thing, because it's something that you can learn about and, all that kind of stuff. So, but as long as your values match, you should be set.
I mean, I would say it's probably good to have some similarities, but you don't want to date a clone of yourself either. Like, I wouldn't want to date someone who was exactly like me, in their
You'd never see each other.
No, but even besides that, like, if we liked the exact same things on everything, it's like, well, what do I need you for? I've got those things. Whereas if it was like someone who there was some overlap, but also a lot of difference, then it's like, oh, okay, you like this thing, show me that thing.
Yeah.
But I wouldn't want zero overlap either. Like, that'd just be like, what would we talk about? There'd have to be some common ground, but it wouldn't even have to be much. But there just have to be some common ground, because that would be like how I'd meet them. Would be like, oh, you like this thing too? Oh, okay, yeah. And that would be like how we become friends.
But if you have values in common, you can talk about anything that is value related. Obviously, they're going to be the same thing. Cynic's in chat. Hey, Cynic. And my car just showed up. Hello, my car. Welcome to chat. I mean, I don't really have that much in common with my girlfriend. I'm a computer guy. She's a photographer. She doesn't like social media. I'm on social media all the time. She doesn't really play video games. I play video games pretty regularly. So there's a lot of stuff that we don't have in common, but that's kind of cool because the amount of things I've learned about photography is just stunning. And to see her doing her thing with photography is just like, man, that is just fucking awesome. So that difference is actually very attractive. I admire her for having such talent and something that I have no idea about. You know?
Yeah, I mean, I would want something like that, like as a point of difference. If they were like really interested in something, then they could, expand my horizon, so to speak, and show me like new things. But yeah, I wouldn't want someone totally different. I would want at least, like maybe a movie that we both liked, like something that would like
common ground,
explain like why we're friends to begin with, and then like take it from there.
All right, so here's the question to both of you. Jen, while both are important, what's more important? Communication, honesty, or values?
Well, I kind of would think that communication and honesty would kind of go together.
I can lie to you. I can lie to you all day.
Well, I mean, my answer would be honesty, because if they're not honest, then they could lie about the other things. Like they could lie about their values, and then, after it's too late, spring on me like, oh no, actually, I do want kids, and I do want, like, well, that's too late. It's sort of,
should have been honest from the start.
Yeah, so I think without honesty, they can just lie about the other things,
negate everything else.
Yeah,
that's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know where I was going with that, but it's a good point.
Mm-hmm.
I don't really have any problems. I mean, in my relationship with her, we've never really we don't argue, which I find a little suspect. But it's probably the calmest relationship I've ever been in, short of being married, which you would think would be a nightmare. But she was a good girl, so I mean, we just fell out of love. There's nothing wrong there. But none of my relationships, only like maybe one or two, and I've probably had like 12 or so because I'm an old guy. Only one or two have been anywhere near yelling and throwing shit and all that kind of stuff, and not even that, just near, but not actually happening. I dated a girl named Karen, 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 because I dated a couple of Karens, Caryn. I know people have to be different, but I dated a Karen Karen, who back then, Karen actually wasn't a bad word, and she wasn't a Karen. She wasn't a Karen. She didn't misbehave like that or like that, but she was a very passionate person. She would get into fights with people, and I maybe jumping in and pulling her off of people and that kind of stuff. She wasn't violent, but she would get up in your face if she believed she was right and you were anyway derogatory like that. She stood up for herself. She didn't back down if she thought she was right. And I admired that in her, but sometimes I had to get between her and her mother, because if I didn't, it would come to blows. I felt it would come to blows. So that was probably the closest I ever gotten to a relationship where it's been, oh shit, I don't know if I want to be in this,
I mean, I guess I must just pick them well, because everyone I've been in a relationship with, none of them have been crazy. Like, everyone that I've been with, it's like we ended because, the first one was religious differences, and like,
interesting.
One was like, it just didn't work out. We just ended up not being right for each other.
Yeah.
But there's none of them that I'm like, oh, fuck that bitch. That's never happened. Like, I still think positively of everyone I've been in a relationship with.
How much do you want to share, Jen? 0.0%.
Nah, it's just, I haven't been in that many relationships either. Like, I haven't. I didn't lose my virginity until I was 30. So just being weird. It was just like, I don't want to sleep around. I don't trust people who don't know how to talk about simple things like STDs, not because I want to get into big conversations about it. It's just I had trust issues. And that's one of the big ones for me, was like people who wouldn't tell me the truth about that shit and then fuck me up. And I had a paranoia of how twins work. And I was like, there's this thing called having children out of wedlock. And then there's this thing called having twins outside of wedlock. And I didn't want to experience that. So I was just like, well, if you keep your legs together, you don't have a problem. Wait until someone comes along who's not a piece of shit. That way you don't feel like you're going to be abandoned if shit happens. That's just all there was to it. And you try to explain that. Well, I tried to explain that to other women at my age, and they kind of thought I was religious. And I was like, no, that's just called logic.
Yeah, I'm careful. That's a good thing. Malevolent Rider and Adam are in chat, our Sunday night host. Hello, gentlemen. Yeah, but I mean, it's up to you how much you want to talk about your previous relationships. But have you ever run into anything that was like, fuck this guy, man, I got to get away from this guy? I mean, have you ever been in that kind of trouble?
No. No. I think the only time I've ever done anything with a guy, it wasn't a fuck you. It was more of a, why would you do something that dumb, Jen? Like I sent a guy who I kind of low-key broke up with pictures of my chest in sexy nice. Poses. And I didn't have a problem with it. He wasn't a bad guy. I didn't have a fear of like revenge porn. It's just the guy gets stupidly drunk sometimes.
Yeah.
And then he's kind of a dumbass when he does. So I legit had this fear that he might share it unintentionally and then just be like, kicking himself because he did it. And it doesn't change. That doesn't change an idiot.
Probably not worth the risk, no.
That's a first date issue with me. When I sit down for dinner with somebody, assuming that dinner is our first date, I watch to see what they order. And if drinks is one of them, I usually take a step back. Maybe not end it, but I'm be very cautious, because if they're seeing me for the first time and they're pounding down a couple of Harvey Wallbangers right off the bat, I'm like, this person's got a problem.
Yeah.
But
that was like I said, he was a super nice guy, but yeah, he would tell you stuff when he was drunk, or he'd show you things when he was drunk.
Oh, nice. Yeah, my wife was a drinker, and I said, drinking's not my thing. I had a couple when I was in high school, just to feel a little bit of buzz, but that's about it. I don't drink. And she's like, good, you'll keep me from drinking. And I was like, that's a pretty good reply, I don't mind, helping you to avoid it. It's not like she was plastered all the time. I never actually saw her, well, maybe once, where she was drunk. But like a lot of women, it's not true for men, but for a lot of women, drunk means happy. So, and that's what happened. That's what happened with her. She got drunk and she was just very happy, and she was all over me. And I was like, wow, this drunk thing isn't so bad, for at least for her. But, and my dad was the same way. When my dad got drunk, my dad's, coal miner kind of guy, the old masculine man taking care of his wife, all that very traditional stuff. And he liked beer, and from time to time he would get drunk too, or at least pretty well into it. Not quite, he's never falling down, but always just, and he would get very happy. The more he drank, the happy. He just sit there with a big smile on his face, and he was as happy as a pig in shit, and I was like,
I just get depressed. Like if I get drunk, I'm super depressed if I'm drunk.
Really?
Yeah. That is why I don't drink. It's like,
that's interesting. I've heard guys getting violent when they drink, but I've never heard guys getting depressed when they drink.
Yeah.
Really? Wow.
Maybe it's the settings that I was drinking in. Kind of naturally, I was uncomfortable to begin with, and so that kind of exacerbated it. But if I get like drunk, no, I'm just alone in a corner. Just leave me the fuck alone. I don't want to talk to anyone. Just make this end. Make this party end so I can go home.
Okay. Cynic says I get
Um,
uncomfortably social when drunk. I hate uncomfortably social. You get like kind of center of the party kind of deal where you draw everybody's attention. Uncomfortably social. I've never really been drunk, so I don't know how I would get. I just don't like the feeling of losing control. So I don't do drugs or alcohol because I figured I'll lose control of myself and do something stupid.
No, I don't do drugs. I tried marijuana once and it didn't do anything for me. It was just not good, not bad. It was just, So, there's no point doing this again.
My brother was big, heavy into drugs, and I saw what it was doing to him, and it immediately turned me off. So I never got into it. That's the advantage of having a brother who's 7 years older than you. Yeah. Cynic says I get depressed on rum. Does it make a difference of what kind of alcohol it is?
It could, yeah, it could. I mean, different hard liquors do different things.
Makes sense, I guess.
I don't drink a lot either, though. Like, I wouldn't say that I get depressed. I just find that a lot of boozes are hit and miss on how quickly they make me feel sick. And then I feel like I've just injected poison into my mouth. And that does make me feel depressed.
Wow.
I mean,
that part makes me feel
alcohol is
depressed.
poison.
Yeah, when I drink it, sometimes I'll drink something and for some reason it'll be fine. And I always drink water with it, or I'll drink Gatorade or something that's recommended to work with hangover and keeping yourself from dehydrating. But for some reason, some liquors just make me go from I'm good to I really need to vomit.
Welcome
and
welcome to chat Green Badger Outdoors. Go ahead.
No, you're fine. It's just, it's one of those things where like the first couple times I experienced that, I was like, I feel like I'm forcing myself to poison myself with the thinking that it's gonna make me have fun, and it's not.
Oh, it's not fun at all.
Yeah. But I am a stoner. So I can't say I'm a clean girl because I do smoke the pot on occasion. I'm sure you can all tell.
The pot.
Yeah, I'm sure you can tell.
Actually, I didn't know that. I think you mentioned it before, but I wouldn't say that your personality reflects it.
I don't smoke so much that I can't think, or I won't go anywhere in public where I've gotten so stoned where I can't think. And I wouldn't want to be. Like, the point of the stoning is mostly just to relax and so I can chill out and slow my brain down a little bit. I have a tendency to go like a million miles an hour in terms of what I'm thinking about. So the pot just slows me down a little bit so I can just chill. And then on days where I've done fairly big workouts, like, I've been kind of, losing weight too. I'm in the diet side where I have to actually do workouts, athletic stuff. So my muscles are sore. I just want to relax and chill out. The pot's kind of helping me with that. But I don't smoke joints because it's too much pot. I think it's a waste of pot. And I don't ingest it because I find the ingestion thing is weird. Like, it really is weird. I find that's really more for somebody who, that part of it, I think, is more for people who need it. Because my reaction to it was like, meh.
Yeah. Assassin says, I cannot stand being around drunk people. If drunk people are obnoxious drunks, I agree 100%. But if the drunk person is a woman, and like I said before, women just get kind of sexual when they're drunk. I don't find a problem with that at all.
Well, men can be fun when they're drunk too. And I say this is a girl who worked at a 7-Eleven across from the street of basically bars. It's just bars all the way down. It's a red line, effectively. And across the street was the Ship and Anchor, which out of a lot of them is still probably the best of the lot. But occasionally we'd get a flood of, every night we'd get a flood of drunk people. That's just how that is. Halloween comes around and everybody's decided that this year they're going to go around dressed up as genitalia.
Okay.
And so I'm serving those big
funny.
hot dogs. Oh, yeah, those big hot dogs from 7-Eleven to vaginas and giant wieners. And the one guy.
Sounds like fun.
Absolutely. Oh yeah, the one guy absolutely had a picture taken with me. I'm like, I hope that's on your Facebook for life. You took a picture dressed up as a giant wiener with a wiener next to the 7-Eleven girl who had just cleaned the wiener station. So I had like a grease stain like all over my shirt and this grin on my face like, this guy's fantastic. You should, yeah. Drunk people are fine. But there's also the times where there's the odd guy who's a little too drunk and then doesn't realize that, yeah, you are still covered in grease and is following you around the store. Yeah, I had that a couple times. I mean, I had Beretta guys for that reason. Like, there are security, they were there to make sure nothing bad happened. But this guy decided that he was really infatuated with me for some reason. And I knew he was loaded because he kept falling into the donut case.
Okay.
Because I was cleaning the donut case.
I guess guys can be cute drunk, right?
He was probably more than twice my age.
That's okay. Nothing wrong with that.
Yeah. Different situation. I was in my 20s. He was, yeah. I don't think he realized my age. So that happened.
Yeah, Real Wit in chat. Welcome to chat. What do you guys think of the Ralph Cog fight? Did you guys see the video for that? It's pretty funny.
What they're talking about.
You know who Ethan Ralph is, right?
Yes.
Yeah. He got in a fight with Cognitive Thought and Cognitive Thought's friend. They met in the real world, and Ethan Ralph got the crap kicked out of him. And then he lied and said that Cognitive Thought was arrested. Because that's what Ethan Ralph does.
Yeah, I don't know much about Ethan Ralph, and I know nothing about Cognitive Thought, so it's just...
Cognitive Thought was one of those guys back in the day, like Bearing and Undoomed, and they're just anti-SJW kind of guys. But his icon was a profile of a picture, an outline profile of a head, and inside were some gears. I always remember the icon that he used. It was very distinctive. And
he started with the anti-feminist anti-SJW crowd.
Yep.
I have talked with him before, but the unfortunate thing is most of the people I've talked to back then, that was like 2015.
Yeah. Most people on that side were very passionate about it, and Cognitive was more analytical. That's why he had a different feel. He had good arguments, and he wouldn't get drawn into passionate debates. He was always very straightforward and logical and clear-headed and that kind of thing. And so it kind of mimicked what his whole idea was about, Cognitive Thought. So it played really well. I mean, not like the other guys weren't. Bearing was pretty straightforward too. To him, everything was a joke, but he was very clear about what he thought was right and wrong. You get some of the other people, they were kind of all over the place, and people would get into fights. Obviously, there were plenty of people just happy enough to be angry and, call people dumbasses and stuff like that. And it's a different perspective to come from. Not that it was bad or anything like that. It's just that I appreciated Cognitive Thought because of what, how he approached it. It was more in line with how I felt about it all. And now he's not even called that anymore. Even though everybody still calls him Cog, because that's what he used to be called, Cognitive Thought. Now he's like Back Letter or Back something, Back.
Oh, I wouldn't know that now.
Backbeat or
I haven't followed him in such a long time.
Yeah. He changed his name.
He's not a bad guy or anything. It's just
he's a good guy.
Part of the reason that I hesitate with him because the guy I was kind of dating at the time was kind of buddies with him, but he was also kind of buddies with Crowd, and it caused a little bit of drama between him and Cognitive Thought. So I don't think he would ever remember me because I'm one of those people who can sit in a room as long as I'm not talking. You won't know I'm there. It's this thing I do at work where people don't realize that I make annoying little noises on purpose so they know I'm there.
Spudgun says Backwards Internet is his new name.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Backwards. Spud's a smart guy. He knows all the stuffs. He knows all the things and stuffs. Yes, Backward Internet.
Real
That's correct.
WTT says the same thing. He followed up.
How do you pronounce that? Real Wit or Real WTT? Are we spelling it out? I said real wit earlier, and that would make the middle thing an I, but I don't want to mispronounce anybody's name. You're gonna have to fill me in the proper way to say that.
Yeah, I don't know how they.
Welcome to the show, though.
But I just went with real WTT because I don't know how else to pronounce it.
That's it. Yeah,
I'm not opposed to discovering Cog though. Like he did have some good videos back in the day. I just don't know him as necessarily a video guy anymore. Because like there was a long time where he was on board with the streaming community until you know when they all kind of thought that's where the money was, and then it switched back to video.
right.
And I just can't watch everybody's streams. I just can't.
Yeah, it was pretty funny though because Ralph charged them and got his ass knocked on the ground, and then he got up and he charged him again and got his ass knocked. He just kept getting knocked down and beat up. It was pretty funny, and you got a chance to see just how fat this guy is because his shirt pulled up, and yeah, it looks like he used to be a lot heavier than he is now because there was a lot of folded skin there. Yeah, I was like, ugh. But yeah, it's not like he didn't keep getting up. So, I mean, he didn't get knocked down. Nobody really was headhunting, trying to knock him out or anything like that. They just kept on basically pushing him down on his ass. And his best retort was he gave everyone double fingers, you know. All right, dude, you know, you're on your ass.
I get knocked down, but I get up again. You're never going to keep me down.
So yeah, he's really, really sad that he's lost blood sports. And I think he has to come to terms with the fact that they're not coming back, Ralph. They're dead.
Yeah.
They died.
But the people are still around. The Worskies are still around, still doing stuff. And
I think Andy might be trying to do something of a comeback because he did get some attention for showing support for Coach Red Pill. I mean, everyone was trying to, you know, to show some support, even if they didn't like the guy. But also, I think he's been trying to reach out to some of his old buddies, and I hope for Andy. Like, I don't like that he was my excuse for banning Andy, to be quite frank, is because he was using his funds for drugs. And I'm one of those people where I don't care if you do drugs, but I won't pay for them.
Of course not. I liked Andy when he was making videos with Chris. I didn't like his live streams.
Yeah, I was never big into that. It was the kill stream, right? What was it called?
He'd had Wooski live as well.
Right. I don't have a problem with him, but I don't really like listening to two people screaming over top of each other. I don't find that enjoyable.
Exactly.
I also find Andy a little bit of a hypocrite, and I mean that as a Canadian because he. You know, not all of his stuff was based off of American politics. Most of it was based off of feminism and anti-SJW stuff. Right. But he did cover American stuff on occasion. And I was just like, listen, bro, I appreciate that you do that. You're going to get more views doing that. So I do appreciate that. But given the fact that he was in Toronto and Ottawa has been a hellhole and he's talking shit about you guys... And I was just like, one time, I would like you to be honest about the fact that Canada is up its own ass. Just once. I know it's boring. I'd like to see him make it entertaining because I thought he was funny. Well, like not good funny, but he was funny.
It's something It's something I've told you guys before. I got to tell you again, just to remind you that if you hear me laughing while you guys are talking, I'm not laughing at what you're saying. It's because Assassin puts stuff in chats that makes me funny. It makes that's funny. It makes me laugh. I'm not laughing at what you're saying. I'm laughing at what he's saying. So if you hear me giggle, it's not because I'm laughing at you. It's that like every time it's him or Spud say something, I just can't help myself. I start laughing. So don't take it personally. He said, I have no idea what Ralph would get himself culturally enriched so quickly after the first time it happened. Oh, that's so funny. How are we doing on?
He's gonna pick the wrong fight. Oh, go ahead.
I was gonna say how are we doing on time because it's 10 bells.
It's up to you. Like I can go a little bit longer, but like if you're hungry or something, or you know.
I'm okay. I just don't want to get too far past time because I know it's an issue. So,
did you guys see This Week in Stupid with V? because he had a segment where
who's V?
There's this the guy that used to hang out with Sargon, V Monroe.
Oh, okay.
He had this segment where there's this VTuber that he's been shilling called Pippa, and this other VTuber is like apparently extremely naive, and they were like playing Minecraft together, and people in chat were saying, "Is that a bad dragon?" Because like there was a dragon on the screen. He's like, "No, it's not a bad dragon, but why don't you look up the bad dragon catalog and see if he's listed there?" And this naive girl who was on the stream was like, "What's that?" And it's like, "Oh no, it's just a website that catalogs all the bad dragons in various media, and like Smorg is in there, and like you should just check out the bad dragon catalog and see if this guy's mentioned." And then she's like, "What the fuck is that?"
Did you see that? Speaking of dragons, did you see that meme that came out that was Game of Thrones? I rode dragons, and then there was another thing that says I created dragons, and another one says I fought dragons. It was the guy from the video game Dragon's Lair, and then and the fourth picture is of Donkey from Shrek. We know what he did to the dragon.
Oh yeah.
Yeah, that's pretty funny. When you're talking about dragons, it just reminded me of that. I don't remember what the third one is. Fought dragon, rode dragon. There was a third one, and then finally him is like, I fucked dragon. So it's pretty funny. It just has him looking at the screen, smiling. Like, guess what I did.
The Dragon's Lair was a great game. Back at the
Dragon's Lair, the fantasy adventure where you become a valiant knight on a quest to rescue the fair princess from the clutches of an evil dragon. Can you tell I've played it once or twice? I know the entire
standard, it's not much. It's literally just quick time events.
Yes.
But back in the day, the animation was stunning. It still holds up pretty well today, really. No, I enjoyed it. I used to play it a lot. Not to the extent that I memorized the lines from it. I don't remember them, but no, I do remember some of the traps and like the hand that comes up from the drawbridge. And like you've got to fight it off, and no, it's a good game.
Keyverdan just attacked Spud Gun in chat.
Yeah.
She booted him. I'm so stupid. No wonder I'm still single. I don't think that's the problem. I don't think you're stupid. I think you're fine. That's funny.
Everyone makes mistakes. It's not
Oopsie.
It's okay. I mean, I was like, I don't know what's offensive about 3 a.m., but maybe you were like worried that it's 3 a.m. for a Spud Gun.
I've done that before.
Do you have work tomorrow, sir?
I've accidentally booted people before. It happens. You're vigilant, so it's easy to make that mistake. You're just clicking around and oopsie. It should come up with a little pop-up saying, "Are you sure you want to do this?"
I'm just walking away for a second.
All right. Spud's a good guy. He doesn't hate you. It'll be okay. Everybody makes mistakes. He was one of the older.
I have Dragon's Lair on Steam, and I got most of the achievements in it.
Have you beat it?
I don't think I actually. I think I got up to You're on a Magic Carpet, and the directions were just too hard for me.
They are, of course, everything is doubled. You have a left version and a right version.
Yes.
But it's right, forward, left, if you're going on the left-hand side. If it's, you just flip it if you're going the other way. I remember it because I listen. I put in almost a full paycheck into one of those machines one day. And I got to the point where I was at the dragon, and I was like maybe, I don't know, 10 moves away, because I've seen other people beat it, so I knew how close I was. And I just could not get it. And I'm just putting quarters in. And I'm on my lunch hour. And the guy who used to go to the things with me on my lunch hour is like, "Dude, we need to get back." The good thing is, my boss, his father, my father were best friends.
Okay.
So I was like, I called and said, "Listen, I'm coming back. I just, I drove too far away. I'll be there as soon as I can." He's like, "Oh, it's no problem. Take your time." I was like, "Yeah, right." Hung up, another quarter, And actually back then it was 2 quarters to play one. So if you died, it's 2 more quarters and 2 more quarters. At the time, that was a lot of money because everything was 1 quarter. This was double the amount, you know? So yeah, I spent a good hour and a half out of an hour's lunch hour. And I won. I won at the end. I hit the fire button and threw it right through his chest. And I was like, yes! And I had a crew of people behind me watching me trying to cheer me on. And everyone was like, yeah! It was like a big party and everything. It was awesome. Even the owner of the arcade came out and was like, what the fuck's going on? He beat Dragon Slayer. He beat Dragon Slayer. Oh, very nice. Very nice. Older gay gentleman.
Hi, Camel.
So yeah, that for a long time, Dragon's Lair was and then once I beat it, I got so good at beating it that I would come in on my lunch hour, walk in, beat it, and leave. And everyone was like, "Holy shit, dude!" You know, because at that time, no one was winning that game. Everyone was playing like 4 rounds out of 30 or 40 rounds, whatever there were, and giving up. You know, I walk in and I just really like talking to people while I'm playing. You know, I was like, I totally got this. And I got to the point where I wouldn't even lose lives. I just beat the game and walk away. Everyone was like, that was so cool. I was a pinball wizard. Had to be a twist. So the good old days. I was in my 20s. That's how long ago it was. 40 years. I never really.
You're not my mom, Jack.
I've never really took the Space Ace though, which was its successor or not. Yeah, another game that had nothing to do with Dragon Slayer. There was a Dragon Slayer 2 eventually, but Don Bluth came out with Space Ace like maybe 6 months afterwards, kind of deal. And that was a cool game too. But yeah,
I played all of them. The first Dragon Slayer is the only one I really liked.
Yeah, I wish I wish there was a version that was more true to the arcade, because even the versions I've seen on PC, although I've played them, they're just not quite the same without having a joystick and the active feedback plus the sound. That no one really has that little punk when you made the right decision.
I mean, you could plug a joystick into the computer easily enough.
Probably could, but there's no haptic.
You can. I've done it. I've got several.
There's no haptic feedback, because when you pushed that joystick in the right direction, it would feel like a keyboard key where it would give you a little bit of resistance and then it would go through if you did it right. If you made a mistake, it just swung left and right. You didn't feel anything. But if you got the correct answer, there would be a little resistance and then a drop of resistance in the joystick to kind of let you know that you made the right choice.
Oh, okay, yeah.
And that's not there on a key. I mean, you'd have to get a specialized joystick to do that. Plus, the sound was very unique when you made the right choice. It was a bunk sound when you made the right choice. So you can listen to somebody playing the game and not know where they're at, but just hear the bunk, 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 and know that they knew what they were doing, because it was just success after success after success, you know. And it was like, I guess it was like 60 some odd moves to win the game.
Because I've got joysticks from fighting games, and yeah, I mean, you could play it, but obviously it's not going to do the resistance thing, because the joystick doesn't know what the right answer is. It's not programmed to give resistance on certain situations. It's just you push the thing to the left, right, up, or down, and if that's the right answer, good.
And the button for the sword.
Yeah.
Don't forget the button.
You just pick which button you want to be the sword.
Yeah. Yeah, that was a great game. I played that a lot. I mean, I was an arcade kind of person when I was in my younger years, so I would play all the games. But that and what was the other one? It was a vector-based tank game. It was Battlezone, maybe?
I'm not sure.
Yeah, it was green. It was a green screen. It was all vector-based. Nothing that was shaded in. It was just wireframe.
No, I know the one you mean. I just don't remember the name of it.
Yeah, but you would put the coins in and go, doot, 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 and then the first thing it would do is start attacking. You're like, holy shit, you know, and you had 2 paddles for, like a tank would have, you know, for left and right for the 2 tracks on the outside of the tank kind of deal. And it was very slow. You had to kind of maneuver behind things to be safe, and they would still fire shit at you from behind and kill you. So it was a tough game, but I enjoyed playing that a lot back in the days. Were you an arcade person, Jen?
Not necessarily. Like arcades in our area kind of disappeared by the time I was probably old enough to even be let out of my home to go to one.
Okay.
Like my brother went to them. Like there was one at the mall that was closest to our area that I know he would walk there or take his bike with his friends, you know, every once in a while. And it was just it was a quarter place. There was a theater at that same mall, so I do remember going there on occasion. I just had an obsession with certain games, and that's just kind of how it was. But I didn't mind the fighter games. The fighter games were probably ones that I was a little bit better at. But I was kind of the stubborn kid who was determined that if I was going to get something in a basket, I was going to get something in a damn basket, even if it was something dumb and simple like that. So those are the kind of, yeah. I don't know what it is about it, but like I would try every angle and somehow it always just manages to fuck outside of the circles. And I don't know what the science is to it. I think it's just I needed someone with better skills to teach me. But, you know, that's what you do when you're a kid.
Yeah.
You just try to figure things out on your own, or you wait until someone teaches you.
I did play Star Wars, Adam. That was another wireframe game. But the cool thing about that was you sat in it. You got, like, because you were sitting on like in an X-wing fighter. That's what made that game unique, is that you actually sat down to play it. But that was wireframe too. That's another game from back in the day. I mean, I had a PlayStation when I was growing, you know, when I was a little older. So, you know, I used to play Mortal Kombat all the time. Finish him. And then I played a Battle Arena to Shinden. And then
I remember that.
I bought a game that was like a really popular game at the time. And I had a party and somebody stole it. And I was so soured that someone who's a friend of mine stole my game that I gave my PlayStation away, never picked up a console again. I get so soured on it.
Oh, God.
Yeah.
I never got fully into Mortal Kombat. I thought the fatalities were cool, but the actual game is kind of crap.
Okay.
It reminded me of Double Dragon. And I liked Double Dragon not because it was good, but because the graphics were so funny.
Like,
the mutant guys you had to fight and shit, and then they made that stupid movie.
I think it's because I played Street Fighter first, and like Street Fighter and Mortal Kombat don't play the same at all.
Yeah.
And a lot of what I wanted from Mortal Kombat was because I was primed by Street Fighter. Like, well, why doesn't this work this way? This sucks. So I did like doing the fatalities. That was pretty cool. But the actual game never really clicked with me.
I liked Mortal Kombat. What was nice about it was such a good game that it survived the test of time. They came out with Mortal Kombat 2, 3, 4, 5. I think they're up at like 12 or 13 or something like that. And
11.
every time, is it 11? Yeah. They increased the graphics as technology got better and better and better. So the latest ones, although I'm not very good at the game, I just don't have the twitch reflexes that I used to have. Because I was great at Quake, you know, but that was a long time ago. Now I just don't have the reflexes for it anymore. But I liked the whole premise. I liked the little things they did that made it cool. You know, the fatalities and the friendships. Remember friendships?
Those were funny.
And
yeah.
Was a bestialities, and what was
animality,
something like that. But all those little things that they added in just to make it kind of cool that they did those kind of things. I was like, and that little guy who would pop out and say "Toasty," you know, just the little things they did in that show, that game made me enjoy it a lot.
One thing I'll give Mortal Kombat credit for is they do actually care about the single player experience. A lot of the Japanese fighting games, if you're playing solo, you're playing arcade mode and that's it. Whereas NetherRealm Studios and Midway, when they were making Mortal Kombat, they gave you like a story mode. They gave you like in one of the recent ones, they gave you like towers where like there would be special effects. So you have to win this fight while, you know, the opponent moves twice as fast, or while bombs are raining from the sky, or whatever it is. And they actually like had more than just play against the computer until you beat Shao Kahn. They actually gave you a lot more than that.
Yeah. Well, 10:15. What do you say we get out of here? I'm not particularly hungry, but I'm still half asleep. Not that everybody hasn't made a good attempt at waking me up. I think I want to go back to bed, to be honest with you. I don't know. You guys, anything else you want to cover before we get out of here? I think we covered just about everything. All right.
Yeah, we got everything.
Sweet.
Bye, guys.
Jen. Feel free to jump the queue, Jen. Get right to the beginning.
I never know.
I love when you do that, by the way. Thanks, fam, as always, for chatting with us tonight. Everybody in chat stopping by. Had a nice crew tonight. If you can't wait for the next Wednesday show, remember the meetings are live every evening, including weekdays, with most shows starting around 11:30 p.m. Eastern, 7 days a week. Hosts and start times are listed in the description down below. We will be back next Wednesday at 9 p.m. as usual. I hope you guys enjoyed the show tonight, and we'll see you again next week. Good luck, everybody, and good night.
Bye, guys.
Bye, guys.